back to another episode of With Sonar. I'm your host, Luke Velasca, and it is Wednesday again. And folks, the freight market is as volatile as ever. Markets are going through the roof. Some are actually slowing down, but most markets, including volume and rates, are continuing to push higher and higher. And we're here to give you a little bit of insight to hopefully make your lives a little easier. But first, Kyle, thank you for joining me today. And first off, happy birthday.
Thank you. Buzzword City today is what we might as well have called this video, because we're going to be talking about volatility. We're going to be talking about capacity constraints. We're going to say happy birthday to this guy.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, so it's going to be a...
And that was the end of my singing career, folks.
Yep. And that's the show. We'll see you later.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good day. No.
And no, it's going to be a great show. We're going to be really running through what volumes, as always, continuing to skyrocket. Tender rejection rates are continuing to just go through the roof. So all we're hearing about is rates increasing. We're hearing about mini bids going through the market. We're seeing extensions on RFPs that were awarded at the beginning of the year or that were planning to go at the beginning of the year. So we're going to kind of run through a lot of different things today. But
absolutely.
But other than that, how's things going with you?
It's going great, man. You know, living the dream, just trying to make things happen and trying to make sense of everything. You know, I saw this on the news the other day, and we're going to talk a lot about, you know, maybe potentially why volumes are increasing. Of course, it's anybody's best guess. But we were looking, and I saw this article that was posted, and it was saying that there was something like an additional 800 billion with a B, over $800
with a what?
billion dollars that was deposited, an additional $800 billion deposited into bank accounts across America in the month of May. Jeez. Not my bank account, but somebody's.
No, you're fortunate that it was not your bank account.
Yeah.
So we're here. So that's a tough one to really think about, because you're seeing all this input of new capital into, you know, could be a lot of stimulus money. A lot of stimulus money. So a lot of people that are maybe staying unemployed. We hear these, not horror stories, but it may be more advantageous than going back to a part-time job. Who knows? You may be coming to an Amazon store near you. You know, fulfillment centers seem to be spiking left and right. So it seems to be a good opening and a good job for anyone that's.
You know, I actually think I spent a little bit less money because I just stayed at home. I wasn't going out to eat. I wasn't going to the movies. Like, you know, you still buy things online, of course, but I think for me, I wasn't spending as much money. So I've actually saved a little bit of money over the last couple of months, I think, just from not eating out all the time.
Really?
Doing different things.
Complete opposite with me.
Yeah.
We are Grubhubbing every other day. As soon as I realized that Amazon their Prime was 14 days, a month out, I was like, well, it looks like I got to go to the old traditional route. I'm going to just start buying directly from the store. And
you know, I started doing a lot of buying online at Walmart. And they've done very, very well in terms of keeping their shipping times down, for the most part. Yeah,
I mean, they are going to be the next, you know, the battle for e-commerce and for fulfillment is going to be Walmart versus Amazon. Yeah. So it's going to be very interesting to see who Walmart acquires, how they add to this fulfillment. I mean, we talk about Amazon's got a really good way of how they automated the entire warehousing and fulfillment process. They know exactly where everything is. So coming from a Walmart where you're fulfilling maybe in stores and you're shipping from stores, instead of having a fulfillment center now, you know, I've been to Walmart and said, how did this candle get here?
Exactly.
and so it's going to be very interesting to see how that compares and how that stacks up. But
you know what's interesting about Walmart and Amazon having to supply all those things is, what helps is having great market visibility to know when to make decisions. Hashtag segue.
Whoa!
Where Sonar can help out. That was too much. I'm sorry, folks.
If it wasn't the sign below, if it wasn't the sign behind us, or the T-shirts, you now know that we are going to be talking about Sonar today. So what are we going to... First off, let's just talk about volumes.
Let's talk about volumes.
Where are they at?
And I want to actually, before we even get to volumes real quick, I think the big purpose of today's episode of With Sonar is talking a lot about how vitally important it is to have near real-time market information. It's not enough to have a historical model to say, okay, great, we were running rates on this lane 2 weeks ago at this rate. Or maybe I'm not as familiar with rates on these lanes, or maybe I typically move contracted freight on this lane and not spot freight, and now my shipper is asking me to move spot freight. Right. How do I get it covered? What are the rates going to be? What are the spot market rates?
Right.
The rating tools out there say X from a week ago or 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Is that helpful? No, it's not. It's helpful in a flat market, and it's even helpful to say how you performed in the past, but not helpful for making a decision right now. And that is where we can really extract value out of it. So talking about volume levels, which I love volume levels. Volume levels tell a big picture. They
Meat and
typically
potatoes.
lead. Okay. I guess. But do you have a favorite indice that you like to look at?
Sorry, I threw you off on that one, but no.
It's been a while since I've had potatoes.
Right? Oh, really? On the diet train? But I personally
my wife
like.
got me a pull-up bar, so.
Did it finally come in?
Yeah.
Amazon Prime primed it a month later.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it was 2 months. 2 days, 2 months. Who's counting? Tomato.
Yeah. What's the difference? No. So I love tender rejections. I love tender rejections. I know. Quite obviously that volumes are going to be the leader before you see it in tender rejections. You're going to see either volumes increase from the inbound side or the outbound side. Could be from additional volume now hitting the market. Could be warehousing now releasing the freight that it's been holding for the past couple of weeks. Could be a lot of different things, but at the end of the day, I like money, and nothing says money to me like tender rejection rates.
Come on, baby. Who doesn't like money? Let's go.
Right? We're talking about the government sending out billions of dollars worth of supplement checks to everyone across the United States. We're here teetering tender rejection rates. This is where money's going. Do you want to understand where trucking rates are going? How are they going up or down? It's with the rejections. You want to see how to capitalize your commissions from a brokerage standpoint. You want to see your margins start to expand. It's opportunistic opportunities, right?
Right.
I keep walking over my words, but tender rejection rates tell you exactly whether or not that rate per mile is going to be going up or down before the rate actually changes. I mean, you got to think about it from the route guide perspective. What we're really following is route guide compliance.
Yeah.
So from the route guide, we're seeing it from the contracted side. So that's telling me that these large carriers or even medium regional sized carriers are rejecting freight. They are deciding not to uphold those contracts that they've had negotiated with, and would rather go to a spot market or just, I hate to say go to a spot market, but release this truck that would normally be going for this lane and put it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so that tells us two things. It tells us as you go down the route guide, the rate per mile goes up. Also, as you go further down the route guide, the service levels start to go down from a shipper's point of view. So having that understanding gives you a really good place to be to start positioning your value, start positioning, this is why the rate per mile is this much. It's not from, hey, I surveyed 500 carriers on this lane about a month ago and finally got those invoices and fed them through the machine at, your local fax machine, and now I finally have an average of all of these people that paid for trucks. I mean, that is the most delayed and archaic way to really identify price change. And so, silver platter here, here's rate change, tender rejections.
Worth billions. Maybe not billions, but.
Full circle there.
Yeah. More buzzwords, right? No, I think you make a really, really good point. And not only do tender rejections tell you in near real time what's going to happen and which direction pricing is moving in, but they also tell you a picture as to what's actually causing this. Why is that happening? Why are rates going up?
Right.
And it tells you, routing guides, just like you said, are falling apart.
Right.
In certain areas. Where tender rejections go up, that forces shippers to go through their routing guide. Mm-hmm. When they go through it, they still need to get that freight moved, so they're forced to put it on the spot market, which forces more volume on the spot market, which then forces more competition, and spot market carriers start bidding things up.
Right.
Exactly why that happens. And a lot of that happens due to volume. Yeah. So let's go ahead and throw up on the screen here real quick what we've got a chart here. The blue line is 2020 volume. Folks, we're up and to the right. pretty much where everybody wants their Robinhood account to be moving. But right now, freight volumes are moving that way. And if you notice that green line is 2018 volumes. And that orange line is going to be 2019 volume levels. I mean, it's not even close.
You love to see it.
It's not even close. I mean, we're 7% above where we were in 2018 in terms of volume levels, and something like 11, 12% higher than we were in 2019. Folks, we're talking about national truckload volume levels.
Yep.
When you're talking in increments of 7 to 12% higher from past years, that is massive.
Right, and when you think about it, we're not seeing an entrance of new capacity coming to the market either. So when you think of the freight market, when you think of capacity in the freight market as a constant, and you see these surges like that, I mean, you don't have to be a scientist over here to be able to say that capacity is going to get tight.
Yeah.
Now, how do we get a little bit more granular into that? It's seeing it from a market-to-market level, because that's important from a national level. But to understand from a market, is Houston starting to heat up? Now is my capacity tight currently compared to where it was last week when I was running this lane?
Yeah.
Is LA or any of these markets in the 135 three-digit zip markets that we show on our maps? That's why it's so important to have this near-time data, because you could be quoting off an experience you had a week ago, and it's already wrong today.
Yeah, I mean, with how fast things are moving, absolutely. Freight volumes are up, what is that, maybe 10% almost over the last week? Almost 10% over the last week?
Hold that thought, because Dooner is just lighting up the comment section right now.
What's he giving us here?
First, he was saying that tender rejections rates are like the double rainbow of opportunity. So
that's amazing.
That's a double rainbow. Have you ever seen that video?
Double rainbow guy?
Yeah.
From way back when on YouTube? Come on, that was like one of the first viral YouTube videos.
Yes. I saw it on Tosh.0 is where I originally saw that on. But and then secondary is Robinhood accounts down 2.2% today, but up 57% year to date.
Come on.
Research team, what are you doing over there?
Come on.
All of our Robinhood guys
fun?
over there. Here's just me screaming into a corner of an empty building, right?
That's right. It's not even there anymore. Like, folks can't see this. There used to be like a full room of people. Now there's like 4 people in here, no desks. They got rid of everything. It's just our studio to share with Sonar with you guys. But that's awesome. Thank you, Dooner, for all of that.
Yeah, we're banging the cowbell here for you.
Yeah,
so
it's here. You can't see it, but it's here. It's happening.
So, but back to what you were saying about volumes.
Yeah, well, volumes, and you made the point of like looking where the capacity is moving, right? The beauty is we can look, like you mentioned Houston, right? If we want to look at Houston, it's not just where outbound volume is trending, right? Maybe I move driving. I want to look at driving and volume levels, what's going out of Houston. But here's what's also important. What's coming into Houston? What's going to resupply that outbound volume? Who's going to be able to take that outbound volume? Trucks just don't magically appear.
Right.
And if you want to rely on deadhead trucks to come in, that's going to be, you're going to pay a premium for that. But when you have a market, we can look at where inbound and outbound volumes are trending. If outbound volumes are going up, but inbound volumes are going up at a faster rate, that's actually going to loosen capacity.
Right.
And a lot of folks don't look at that. But if you have outbound volumes going up and inbound volumes going down, the rate that capacity is going to tighten is just, it's unprecedented. You're going to get hit immediately.
Right, because outbound volumes is really telling you how much freight is in that market.
Yeah.
And because these volumes are coming from actual transactions, these aren't, hey, Luke's trucking company over here really wants to figure out what the market rate is right now, so he posted in Atlanta, Duluth, Chattanooga, all these different markets surrounding, so that you can figure out, okay, well, what's a good rate? I want to maybe entice some buyers, so I'm going to post it everywhere. So that's something that is not being factored into this. This is actual transactions that are moving, and in some ways, it's a forward-looking volume as well, because average lead time is 2.5 days.
That's right. We technically see what's happening 2 days before it happens.
So we get the notification when those tenders get sent out, and so if it has an average 2.5 day lead time, you are just being able to be proactive in what's going on in the decisions you're making, because this data is forward-looking.
Absolutely. Let's look at an example of this right now here. So we got a map pulled up for everybody here. Look at all those colors. We've got nice red, white, and blue just for you there.
God bless America.
Come on. So here's what we're looking at here. Markets in blue are what we call that head haul score. So let me define that for you. What that means is the markets in blue have more volume going out than going in. Markets that are red have more volume going in than going out. And the white is relatively unchanged. Now keep in mind, this is a 7-day change that you're looking at here, right? So this doesn't show the current value. We're looking at the 7-day change, which is more important because most people know that Phoenix is a backhaul market.
Right.
Most people know Miami is a backhaul market. Most people know LA is always going to ship more out than what's going to come in. But what you need to know is where they're currently trending. Where's that capacity trending? So markets in blue here are where capacity is tightening. There's more volume. The rate that there's more outbound volume than inbound volume is increasing versus the red markets, the rate that there's more inbound volume than outbound volume is increasing. So
I love it.
California, a lot of blue. Texas, a lot of blue, especially all the major markets, Laredo, Houston, Dallas, Austin. They're blue.
You see, I really like this.
Southern Georgia, yo, what's going on over here? We got Savannah.
Yeah.
We got making a heck, even Atlanta. A lot going on over in Georgia.
Yeah, I really like this from a weekly perspective, but I still love the daily one.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you're gonna see like LA. LA is technically white.
Well, let's throw up the daily value. Let's throw it up. Let's see what it tells us here, real quick. Come on.
Come on.
Come on. I'm excited right now. I get excited.
Dude, we're jacked up today. If I didn't have 3 cups of coffee today.
That's the daily value. So this shows the darker the blue means that there's more outbound volume. The darker the red means there's more inbound volume.
Right.
White, relatively balanced.
No, exactly.
So you got some pretty dark blue here in a lot of these areas.
I love it.
On that index scale.
No, exactly. And this, like we always say, if you've seen with sonar, you've probably seen this before, and it paints such a good picture, and it is literally a piece of art because there's so many different interpretations you can have. Carriers, you're talking about utilizing your assets better. The blue to blue so that you can stay in the black type of methodology. And so that you can understand what risk you have that's associated with going into a specific market that may not be able to benefit a decent rate per mile coming out. So those are those red markets that you're going to try to avoid, but understand if you can get in there, you know, average lead time is 2.5 days. So I need to start setting up those loads for those tough markets 2.5 days prior to that truck entering that market. Brokers, you're able to really identify whether or not you're going to have the buying power and how you should negotiate with the carrier, so that you can say, hey, I know going in, quoting, before you even send a quote, I know this is a bad market going into it, without even having to call anyone. I can tell you that just by looking at a map. And then from a shipper's point of view, it's really understanding, again, the buying power just like the carrier side. Dude, is my DC in a bad area? Is it now more of a backhaul type area where I can really capitalize on pressing rates down? You know, so understanding that really sets up your route guides, better positions your negotiating power. So if you didn't know, now you know. And so what are you typing away? I hear you just ticking over there. And sorry if I wasn't looking at the camera the whole time.
No, what I was doing, I was getting a great example here together for everyone just to be able to see. So flip it up on the screen. We won't take but a minute with this. I'm looking at LA, because why not? Who doesn't? LA, great weather. Let's take a look. So,
oh, before you say that, Penrite Trucking, you want to learn more a little bit about this? I know Michael Caney, my EVP, just talked about it, but sonar.freightwaves.com, and you can talk to Luke and I or someone from our team that can get you access to these maps.
If he wants access, reply to him right now. Just give him.
Come down to Chattanooga and I'll give you my computer.
Just give him your email address or your phone number. What do you wait for? Just quit talking to him through the TV. Be a little personable here and give him a message.
You know, right on the spot. I love it.
It's his birthday. He thinks, you know, the world revolves around him. You know, here's Kyle. Here's the world right now. But you know, so you gotta bear with him a little bit, okay?
Yeah.
So he's still a little upset that the bars aren't open for his birthday. But you know, again, life goes on. All
Listen,
right.
I couldn't wear a fun shirt.
Did you give the man a nice reply? Were you respectful?
Yeah,
okay,
our EVP's already ahead of it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Listen. Luke is so jacked up today. I'm gonna have to beat him back with this chair like a lion tamer over here. But anyways, try to focus that aggression towards the value.
Sorry, folks. My bad. My bad. Mea culpa for those Latin users out there. Okay, great. So here's what we're looking at here. On the chart, we have in blue is the outbound volume year to date out of LA. All right. Now we can break this down for reefer, for van, whatever. But for right now, we're just looking at it overall for simplicity's sake. That orange line, that's the inbound volume going into LA, basically resupplying. What's going to resupply LA so that they can move that outbound freight? Look at this growth right here. Look around the 14th of April, right where my cursor is, right here. Okay? Outbound volumes are shooting through the roof. Outbound volume levels, shot up. They have almost doubled. They have almost doubled since the middle of April out of LA. They've almost doubled. Versus inbound volumes, they're only up about 25%.
Yeah, they're still kind of following, but I mean, LA
so they're
is
trending
always
up along with it, but the outbound volumes are pacing those a lot more, right?
Right.
So that's something to keep in mind there, that yes, both inbound volumes and outbound volumes are increasing, but the outbound volumes are increasing at a much faster rate, and that is going to tighten up the capacity there substantially. Boom. And you can even see here, inbound volumes are look like they might be plateauing right now, potentially. We'll see. Versus outbound volumes are still pushing that limit there.
You know what's very interesting about this, because I think a lot of people who I talk to always say, well, Luke, I'm not very savvy enough. My reps don't have time to send charts or to identify these charts. So that's why we did make up lane signal. So we might be able to dive in a little bit in a couple minutes. But this is really good if you're doing a lot of volume coming out of LA. And you want to benchmark yourself to your customer to be able to validate and show, hey, I kept our rates the same. I stayed consistent with you because I value you as a customer. And look at this. This is an exact showcase of tightening capacity, volume surging coming outbound, inbound staying roughly the same. I mean, like you said, what did you say, 20% up?
Yeah, about a 20% up.
And so this is really giving you that capability to be the expert, to say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Shipper out in LA, this is what is going on in the market, and this is how I serviced you and stayed with you because I value your business.
I'll give you another example, very simple. What this map that you're looking at right here, this is the outbound tender volume volatility map. Markets in green are where those markets are.
See you later, dude.
The dude, he's leaving us.
Mask up.
The markets in green are having the greatest increase in volume relative to their market, right? So a 10% increase in outbound volume for Bismarck, North Dakota, that happens all the time. It fluctuates a lot. A 10% increase out of, say Laredo, that's a big deal. If you want to do this very simply, you throw a map up like this, and we've got many others, to your carrier floor, or to your sales floor. Okay, I see. Look, volumes are up 99% this week alone out of Jackson, Mississippi. Why are you not calling customers there to ask for more freight?
Right.
Have you experienced that much of an increase? You don't have customers in that area?
Right.
Well, guess what? You should probably call them because that's going to tighten up capacity, and you hopefully have some capacity.
Yeah.
Great opportunity to land a new customer.
Yeah, I mean, you see all of these sales gurus here on LinkedIn that are having troubles cold calling. We can help you with that. Right here, you're a brokerage, you're a trucking company that's trying to find new business. Right here, this is what you're trying to.
There you go.
What did we say right before this show? I really like the volatility aspect of things because green means show me the money.
Money.
And so
who doesn't want more money?
Listen, you know what? I'm gonna give you my money.
I appreciate that. I need some actually. Yeah. I got kids.
I hate money.
I got bills, dude.
Yeah.
Kids ain't cheap.
No. The fun shirts I get every week, it's starting to break the bank for me. So
I believe it. I mean,
it's an expense.
How much do you spend on those shirts?
Probably average $20 to $35 a pop.
My goodness. You could give $20 to $35 a week to me, and I could have it for myself.
The Luke Velasca fund. Send Luke back to New Jersey. That's what this fund is going to give you. You pay 10 cents a day. This guy's going to go back to the shores of Jersey for you.
I'll be careful. You start advertising that, money's going to roll in. Ain't nobody want me here anymore.
This somehow got linked to his Robinhood account. Don't know how that happened.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. No, it's okay. Hey.
No, but kind of back, this is just another way that the same map, I know we always show the haul map, we always show maybe volumes or weekly changes, but there's so many different ways to utilize this map to be able to show exactly what's going on. And so that's just really what we wanted to showcase here for you, is that you want to look at rail volumes, we can show you that on this map. You want to look at, container changes, we can show that. You want to look at trucking changes, you want to look at volatility on the trucking side, tender rejections, anything. You want to see lead time? I mean, you can put up any data set that you want on this map, and that's what makes it so impactful.
It all comes down to, do you know more than the other guy?
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't matter if you're a shipper, if you're a large carrier or a brokerage or a small mom and pop, doesn't matter. Shippers, carriers, brokers, and many others, right? You can have the most success by knowing information before it happens, right? It's the same thing in the stock market, right?
Yep.
The best stock traders, traditionally, right, know information before everybody else does.
I got a great line for you. The moment you see it on with sonar, it's already too late. This is why you need this in your day-to-day, because the moment it happens in the morning, this is updated daily. This is why you shouldn't just look at, well, I can see Luke in the morning and Zach Strickland talking about the broker and carrier update and Donnie Gilbert talking about from the brokerage side.
I just showed Mississippi volume levels up 99%. Guess what? They were up over 100% 2 days ago. That 99% number, they've actually slipped slightly. How about that?
Well, there you go. So you want to learn more? You want to put this in your operation floor on a big screen in the hands of your pricing guys, in the hands of your procurement, validate with your customers what's going on? We're here for you. You want to talk to Kyle? You want to talk to Luke?
Yeah.
Shout out on LinkedIn. If you're looking here, I think my email's in the comment section. So what else you got for me? Is this it?
I don't know, man. I mean, we're dropping a lot of knowledge bombs right now. I'm kind of nervous.
Where's the mic? I need something to drop here. Because
stop it. Okay, it was good, but it wasn't that good. All right. See, guys, again, it's his birthday. Thinks he runs the world here real quick. Pretty soon he's gonna, be trying to be supreme ruler of the world or something. All right. Remember, okay, you still got a lot to learn here.
Yeah.
Not from me, from somebody, not from me.
Our VP of Customer Success pitched to me on Monday that I need to not only do Fun Shirt Fridays, George is going to love this, but Miami Mondays.
Come on.
Come on, start
What's
the
a
week.
Miami Monday?
It is just, I think it's a long sleeve fun shirt. It's probably
long sleeve fun shirt?
Maybe cuffed once, ever so slightly.
Okay.
So, might try it out. We'll see how it goes.
Do you drive a Ferrari too?
In my mind.
Convertible though, the top's got to be down.
Top's down.
Flip-flops.
Flip-flops. This was Luke's persona last week, if you didn't catch with Sonar last week. Flip-flops.
That's right, I did have flip-flops on last week for with Sonar. You couldn't tell. That's why we have a desk. But it was there.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Kyle, it's a pleasure speaking with you as always. Thank you for having some good dialogue. And folks, thank you for tuning in wherever you're watching, whether you're watching on the website, our TV app, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you are. We're so thankful that you all are tuning in. Thank you for the feedback. Please continue to give us feedback. We love to learn what you're hearing in the market and what you're experiencing. Everyone's experience is a little bit different given the volatility that's happening, and everybody has their own network. But hopefully this is helpful for you all. And if you want to learn more, let us know. Leave us a comment below. Email Kyle, email myself. Go on our website, FreightWaves.com, and there's plenty of ways to learn more information. And we're here because we want you to have the best tools possible. Also, thank you all. Have a fantastic rest of your week. We'll see you next Wednesday at 4 p.m. for another episode of With Sonar. Have a fantastic day. We're out.